Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
So from St. Louis, now we're heading to Wittenberg.
Yes.
Heading across the pond. Dr. Wilhelm Weber, the director of the Old Latin School in Wittenberg, is joining us today. Dr. Weber, thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour.
Oh, it is my pleasure again, Andy.
So for our listeners not familiar with the Old Latin School, can you give us your elevator speech? What is the Old Latin School in Wittenberg?
Well, 5 years now, the anniversary happened again on the 5th of May. 2015, this place was opened up for the public just in time for the big Reformation Festival 2017. And since then, this house has really been very active in promoting confessional Lutheranism as supported by the International Lutheran Council, where the Missouri Synod is the leading role player, but you also have churches from Canada, Germany, Australia, South Africa, etc. Opening up this place is really wonderful for confessional Lutherans, right next to St. Mary's, in the center of old Luther City. And of course, Corona has done quite a bit of dampening our spirits, not really spirits, but the traffic. You know, there's no tourism to talk about. We are hopeful that things are opening up again, but that really has put us back for quite a while and given us time for reflection and where we're going. So it's not all bad.
How has the pandemic in the last year and a half, how has it affected the community around you in Lutherstadt Wittenberg?
You know, it is, I think, in quite many and different ways. The public life has really closed down. The public eating places like restaurants have just shut down, and for nearly 2 years, it is quite a time for these people to go without any income whatsoever. The government has supported institutions quite well. Even the Old Latin School has been a recipient of that support. But the isolation, I think, is the worst. That people, even homeschooling is for the people here not a usual thing. And so they are really, most couples are working, husband and wife. And so it really puts a strain on the families, how things are moving ahead. We are way back with vaccinations in comparison with the United States and with Britain, etc., in Israel. But it seems as if we are now heading towards some improvement along that line too. What is, of course, always the story is that people who you at least expected suddenly pass away. So in the immediate vicinity, there's a tattoo shop next door to me where the proprietor died from one day to the next. And so that really is a guy coming here to test the installations of fireproofing, etc. Has also, the last time his colleague came and I asked, where's the old guy? Where's Fritz? And so he had passed away. And so that happens here and again. And so that always is a bit of a personal tragedy as well, especially if you think that many of these people are not confessing Christians and really only believe in this life here. And so cutting that short is really for them a great loss. They don't have the hope of eternal life.
Well, tell us more about the Old Latin School, with hopes that there would be opportunities for visitors in the coming year. What would we find when visiting the Old Latin School?
Yeah, open doors. We know with this spring coming in now, it was pretty late. We had a cold April. Since the 60s, it was the coldest measured month. So the doors were closed, but now it's warming up nicely. We're getting into double digits. Of course, that's centigrade. You'll have to help me along with that one. So we are going close to 20 degrees centigrade today. Even when it's raining, we have open doors, so people can walk in to and find me sitting there in the bookshop. It's a great view. I look on to St. Mary's and the church square where Bugenhagen is. So we are really right in the center of town for all the tourist attractions. People coming here to see the big World Heritage sites, only place where you have 4 of them in one street. They can see that. But of course, our house has, during the week, some language courses. We had those at least when we were still up and running before Corona. Vivian Kleeblatt taught German to immigrants. We have courses here, various pastoral courses, congregational courses where they come for retreats, for intensive studies, and just for recreation as congregations, elder groups, etc. Also ongoing pastoral training from the church locally, but also then from Europe, from the Baltics, but elsewhere as well. We are very hopeful, and that's looking forward already, that this training will be expanded on a continual basis, and that will actually be up and running from September again. But then, of course, we also have Bible studies. We have, well, it's no longer Lenten time. Now we're in the middle of Eastertide, but during Lenten tide, we had Lenten services. Now we have regular Sunday services as well, always in English or in German, depending on who is there. But most of the time we do it in English because we've got regulars who can only speak English. And so we use the LSB and we have the devotions on a regular setting. What we offer as well evening courses with various groups who gather here. English and theology is a group. We go out to Stammtisch, etc. And so there's interlinks, and then we invite the people here as well from these various groups. So now and again they come in the house, in our house, and have that as well. So, but you can also just visit and have this as a holiday base as you travel around Germany or these eastern parts, going to visit Berlin, which is about half an hour away, or Leipzig, the same distance south. And you can travel from here by high-speed train or by bus service, or even on the river with the Elbe cruise boat, if you care to do something like that. And then, so if people can use the Old Latin School just as a hotel or as a recreational center or as a spiritual retreat, study center for people. We are Professor Just from Concordia Seminary wanted to do a sabbatical here. Bob Kolb from St. Louis Seminary is contemplating coming here in summer to continue his studying, because in Wolfenbüttel it's a bit difficult. So that adds up to that kind of scenario where people use it for very many different things.
It sounds like we need to take coffee hour on the road. It sounds like so much to do and so many things to see. It sounds absolutely amazing. Are there historical events coming up this year that are going to be observed at the Old Latin School?
No, because these things are all cancelled again. This wedding is coming up here in June. It's not going to happen. Things like that have been. Also, the various churches have cancelled their big pastoral conferences. They'll only be online. The various institutions here in Wittenberg, like the Evangelische Akademie, they have just moved online because it is just too unsure whether things will happen. We are looking forward to visiting groups in September and October from Missouri as well. And we are hopeful that that will be able to take part, but it is all still under this question mark. Is it going to be possible or not? So we are hopeful, and still on the large scale, big events, Bach and Handel and these stories have all been cancelled.
You mentioned earlier that there are other historical sites in the community that would be of interest. Can you share just about a minute worth with us what those sites are? So as we start making plans for the coming year, that we might take a look at what those sites are and how to make a plan for a trip to the Old Latin School as well.
You know, locally, of course, you have to see St. Mary's, which is the church where Luther started his mission to reform confession and absolution, where he did most of his sermons, where his children were baptized, etc. Then the Black Cloister, where he lived, which later was his own house, which was given to him, which is really fantastic because it's got wonderful exhibits, fantastic historical sites, probably the biggest Luther collection of coins and pictures and all sorts of writings, etc., etc. But then, of course, you have Melanchthon House, which is probably the most authentic of the lot because it is really very much just like it was in his time. And then you've got Castle Church, which has been renovated very nicely and is really worthwhile a visit. It's magnificent, but it is more of a university place. It's not so much a church. It's more like a historical, political site of Prussian glory of that time.
Dr. Weber, where can we find more information about the Old Latin School?
On the internet, there's plenty. You know, also on our own links, Old Latin School. If you type that in, there are some good links there. But on just Google Wittenberg and you come right there.
Our guest today, Dr. Weber, director of the Old Latin School. Thank you so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour.
Oh, Andy, it's a pleasure. Sarah, thank you very much for your time.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@kfuo.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.